Good morning, everybody here. Morning, good afternoon, good Shabbat. Welcome to the Temple Beth Friday evening service at 6 p.m. this week. I'm Jordan Harris, and it's not the first time I've led our service, but this is the first time in many years I've been on the bema to lead the service. So, interesting experience. Brings back a lot of memories, like my bar mitzvah. Okay, our opening nigun is going to be Talmidei Besht.
Yes, the nigun Talmidei Besht, so join with us. Ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la.
May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Please turn to page 2 for lighting of the Shabbat candles.
It's an honor to call up Judy Harris, Jordan's wife, as we light these candles and we celebrate their, is it 43rd wedding anniversary, which was June 10th. So we wish them mazel tov. We'll be reading on page 3 and then lighting candles on page 2. You can light them right from there if you want. Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own way, be among those who kindle light. Okay. Now you can light them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, mitzivanu lahadnik me'asher Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with the mitzvah, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Mazel tov. So nice to see Judy here. It's been quite a while, so welcome. We're going to continue with Kabbalat Shabbat. beginning with Yedid Nefesh on page 10. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Yedid Nefesh av harachaman, Mishoch avdecha, Yalalai lai lai eretzonecha, Mishoch avdecha, Yalalai lai lai eretzonecha, Yarot avdecha kemol hayal, Ishtachavei lai 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 el mol hadarecha, Ishtachavei lai 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 ya la la lai 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 el mol hadarecha.
Please turn to the top of page 12 for a Lachun Rana.
Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yish'enu, dekadma fanav betodah. Naria, naria, letzor yish'enu, bezmirot nagila lo. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. One more time. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai. Lechoneranena, 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 ladonai.
Okay, let's turn to page 20 and welcome the Shabbat bride with L'chod Odi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Please stand for the final stanza and face the entrance to your room or sanctuary.
L'chod Odi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chod Odi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad, Yishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'li tehillah. L'chod Odi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chod Odi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, Ki mekor ha'beracha, Merosh mikerem nesucham, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila. L'chod Odi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'chod Odi likrat kala, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בלום, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. Please turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu nil shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei hashalom, Malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We'll conclude the Kabbalat Shabbat on page 26 with the Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'amad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael bagala bagala u'vizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach Le'olam olam ve'omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach ve'yishtabach Ve'yitpa'ar v'yitromam ve'yitnaseh Ve'yithadar ve'yithaleh ve'yithalal Shemei d'kodeshah Barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tush v'chata v'nechemata damiran mi'ama ve'imru.
Amen. Please rise for the Baruch Hu on page 28. Those at home, please face east.
Ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam vaed. Ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la. Oh ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la.
We continue in the Hebrew on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv arovim, b'chachma poteach she'orim, u'bisfuna mashaneh itim, u'mahalif es hazmanim, u'msavder es hakohavim, b'mishparotechem, b'orakia kirtzonam, b'rei yom v'loila, Golel over mitnei choshech, v'choshech mitnei or. Uma'avir yom u'meivi laila, uma'avdil ben yom u'vein laila, Adonai tzva'o shemo. El chai v'kayom, tomid yimloch aleinu le'olam vo'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv arovim. Let's read together in English the top of 33, and that'll be followed by the Shema. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean to struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Let me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. We continue with the V'ahavta on the next page.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lihiot Lachem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Middle of page 39 in the English. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
Heavens declare your glory, may earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
And let's celebrate our freedom from slavery with the Micha Mocha, page 40.
Ya la la ya la 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 ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi chamocha ba elim Adonai mi chamocha neder b'kodesh Nora tehilot osef elev Nora tehilot osef elev Malekotecha ra'ovanecha Okei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze Elianu ve'amru Ze Elianu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed ונאמר כי יפקד אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Let's read the Hashkivenu in English on the next page, top of 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai hapurei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai hapurei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai hapurei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
And let's let's celebrate the Shabbat with the Yismachu, page 44, bottom of 44.
ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, עונג שבת. מקדש שבי, מקדש שבי שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, עונג שבת. זכר למעשה וראשית, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת, זכר למעשה וראשית שבת. Join me, ישמחו במלכותך, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, עונג שבת.
Please rise and face east. We'll start the tefillah. Tefillah will be 46 to 52.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ופי תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geola livnei bneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha bal givurot, Umidom elach, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We continue with the tefillah on the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. And join me in the Hebrew on top of page 57. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amachol Yisrael ufilatam ba'ahava tiskabel u'tilhid l'ratzon tamid avodas Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai she'atacha levadecha b'yira na'avod. Now the middle of page 58, together in English. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morn, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha v'ha noed l'hodo. Shalom Ra, page 60.
Join with me in this prayer of much needed peace. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tarsim Leolam. Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tarsim Leolam. Ki atah melech adon lecho shalom. Ki atah melech adon lecho shalom. V'tov beinecha uvarech et amcha Yisrael. Bechol heit ubechol sha'a bishlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Now let's take a moment for silent meditation. We'll return with Yosef Shalom at the bottom of page 62, and we'll do both of the texts, the Vial Kol Yisrael and the Vial Kol Yeshvei Sevel.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל יושבי תבל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
Why didn't you tell me not to wear my coat?
You didn't think you'd get a workout, did you?
It's hot up here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we next have our sermon, and we have a very special presenter today, Eli Berniker. And I know Eli real well now, and he's promised to keep the sermon under 10 minutes. And we get a double dose of him tonight, because as he also, after he's done with that, he's going to give the announcements as a board member. Okay?
I'm going to take this off. I can't manage otherwise. This week's Torah portion is Numbers 15. It interrupts the narrative of Israelite wandering in the desert to inject instructions for sacrifices to the Lord when they arrive in the Promised Land. It came after the chapter when scouts returned from the Promised Land reported it was inhabited by giants who could not be overcome. The people complained and again wanted to return to Egypt, a replay of the golden calf event. The terrible punishment was to wander in the desert for 40 years. The generation of slaves would not become free men. Numbers 16, the chapter after this one, tells of the rebellion of Korach, Datan, and Aviram, whose entire families are swallowed up by the earth, a grim tale of God's wrath. Why detour into these sacrifices? Avram ibn Ezra suggests that this chapter was inserted to add hope to this dismal, wandering history. It begins, "When you come to the land I am about to give you, you shall make a fire offering." Israel has arrived. The years of wandering are over. The sacrifice is a gift offering thanking Adonai for the land. The passage goes on to specify the sacrifices to the Lord. Every native shall do these, and should a sojourner reside with you, he shall make a fire offering. One teaching and one practice shall there be for you and for the sojourner who resides with you. These instructions apply equally to Israelites and sojourners among them. Over time, sojourners became naturalized members of the community. There was no conversion. Conversion awaited monotheism. Yet, in one sense, the Israelites were all sojourners. We worship the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. As wanderers, theirs was a God who was everywhere. Ancient Judaism was a sojourner's religion. What does diaspora mean? It means that wherever we go, we are sojourners. Save for the centuries of the Israelite kingdoms, this has been a 3,500-year history of wandering. We are all sojourners, natives of nowhere. The chapter continues, "And should you err and not do all these commandments away from the eyes of the community, the whole community shall make one bull as a burnt offering." Robert Adler explains, "A prohibited act performed by a member of the community incurs guilt on the whole group that must be expiated." Why? Violating the community rules threatens the cohesiveness necessary for the tribe's survival. We are judged as members of a community, not simply as individuals. Individual salvation does not exist in Judaism. Judaism evolved among sojourning tribes in the desert. Christianity emerged in civilizations crafted by Greeks and Romans. A survivor of the Warsaw Ghetto may be judged differently than one who survived the collapse of a retirement tower in Miami Beach. Their communities were different. That is what we would expect from an all-seeing, merciful God. The sojourner logic evolved to sustain our communities under every kind of regime over centuries. It required participation in the community long after nomadic tribes disappeared. However, there is a cost. If errors executed by our fellow Jews fall upon the entire community, then we are all justified in telling each other what to do. We have been arguing ever since. Let us return to sacrifices, for that is the most important. The sacrifices are gifts representing thankfulness. We have much to be thankful for. They are explicitly not a way to manipulate God. What follows is distilled from Irving Zeitlin's book, Ancient Judaism. Yitzchak Zeitlin was my madrich in the youth movement some 70 years ago. 3,000 years ago was an era of polytheism. Every tribe or settlement had its own gods. People worshiped the sun and the moon. The Greeks had a pantheon of gods that fought each other, were subject to fate, and could be manipulated by magic. The essence of polytheism is to deify natural processes. The worship of idols is an expression of the belief in the reality of individual deities, gods, who dwell in nature and rule its processes. Sacrifices and magic are ways to manipulate those gods. It's a terrible, frightening, evil universe. Human beings are toys in the hands of gods. You can experience that world. Immerse yourselves in all 4 operas of Wagner's Ring Cycle, ending in the Götterdämmerung, the twilight of the gods. Polytheism imposed an irrational universe governed by natural forces controlling every aspect of life. The sun, the moon, all of nature were supernatural. We are helpless in such a world. The rational, all-powerful, ethical God of creation liberated us from the relentless, imagined power of matter, nature, and necessity. God offers us a sensible universe, devoid of magic and superstition. We can act intentionally and morally. By the way, all of science is rooted in monotheism. There can be no surprises for an all-seeing, omnipotent God. Thus, there must be laws of nature to be discovered. God empowers humanity. God has given humanity a choice. Deuteronomy 30:19. I have set before thee life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore, choose life. We have much to be thankful for. Thank you. Switch hats. This is a welcoming congregation in all kinds of ways and dimensions. The best way to understand that is to go to the website and look at all the different aspects of our activities. I'll just announce the upcoming events in the calendar. Tomorrow, the parashah is Shlach Lecha. Torah studies at 9 a.m. At 10 o'clock, there'll be only Zoom services, no participative services. On next Friday, the Judaica shop, as usual, will open at 5:20. At 6 p.m., Erev Shabbat will be multi-access, Zoom and in person. Saturday, it follows again a service at 10 a.m., only in Zoom, at least until further notice. The parashah is Korach. Sunday, something special. TBE members are going to watch baseball, the Tacoma Rainiers. At 11 a.m. Tuesday, there'll be the book club. On Wednesday, there's a summer play date at Point Defiance, Owen Beach at 12 o'clock, noon. And Friday, on July 8th, it's Erev Shabbat, again, multi-access. Thank you.
Thank you, Eli. This is the time in our service when we pause to remember family and friends who are sick and in need. Of a healing prayer, please raise your hands and I will acknowledge you and just call out the names. Joyce? And I've got Judy Harris, Katie Ortega, David Cohen, Rhonda Cohen Morris, Judy Brinkman, Tom Fox, Dick Seitz, Bunny Peters, Austin Beatty, and Marilyn Bell. Please turn to the Mishaberach, page 253.
And before we say that blessing, I just want to read a prayer this evening as we think about the loss of individual rights of women and how this will affect so many other things down the road. And so this is a prayer for those who are denied abortion care by a rabbi. It says, "May you be safe. May a canopy of safety and peace, health and care cover you, despite everything you are now forced to endure. May you find ways to own your body, your agency, and your dignity, despite everything the government has taken from you. May you be surrounded by a community of caring hands and loving hearts who can hold you. May you always know that you are holy, sacred, and your will, your autonomy matters, should be respected as such. May you be protected in all ways, able to weather the material, physical, emotional, and spiritual hardships that come your way. May you find within yourself resilience, strength, and bravery. May you know that you are not alone." And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Sheberach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor abracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Now we turn for the concluding part of our service to the Oleno, the bottom of page 282, and that'll be followed by Vanamar on 287. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol, l'teit gedula le'otzer breshit, shelo asanu kigorye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'neh V'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad. O Shemo, O Shemo, O Shemo echad.
Please be seated. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light the dark night are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Page 294 for the Mourner's Kaddish.
We start by asking those who are observing a period of Shiva or Shloshim to please rise. In our community, in the period of Shloshim is for Donna J. Smith Bradford, mother of Matt Parent and mother-in-law to Tara Hurst. Next, I'll ask those to rise who are observing a yard site on this Shabbat. In our community, we're remembering Sophia Acker, J. George Branfeld, Morris S. Burnett, Anna Cartoon, Leonard B. Etzekson, Kenneth Farber, Michelle Fingerroot, Jerry Finkelman, Samuel Friedman, Emma Rivka Howell, Clara Joseph, Ida Kaddish, Ken Caron, Irma Kohler, Moishe Rappaport, Bertha Schneider, Harry Seitz, Ann Spellman, Eric Stegman, Laura Steinman, Alvina Strickerts, Joseph Walker, Muriel Feist Winston. For all of them and for those that have no one to say the Mourner's Kaddish, we invite you to rise as you're able on page 294 as we join together.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'yalama divrach brute v'yamlich mahute, v'hayechon v'yomechon, v'hayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman korim v'yimru amen. Yehesh mei rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei omayah. Yisbarach v'yitabach v'yitporar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalah. Shemeda Kudashah Prechu. Le'ela mimkol birchota v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Damiram v'yolama v'yimru amen. Yehesh Shlomo Rabba Mishamaya. V'hayim olenu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav. Hu yaseh shalom. Olenu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Please be seated. Our closing song will be Ein Kelohenu on page 322. And we're going to use the Hasidic melody, right?
Let's see. No, we're going to do Adon Olam, actually. We're going to do a French Sephardic melody of Adon Olam. But before we do, we want to say thank yous. I think you have the thank yous on your sheet at the very end.
Okay, give all the thank yous.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Debbie Japp for the beautiful accompaniment, and of course the cantor for his beautiful singing. And then Larry and Aaron on the soundboard, Sean out front protecting us. Is that it?
And Jordan
Who's he?
This was a very good moment. It's like a shehechiana moment for praying and leading us in person. It's a very different feel, and I'm glad you were here to do that with me. I appreciate it. So now we're going to finish with Adon Olam on page 321. Page 321, join with us. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Ko Yetzir Nivra Le'ein Asa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kiflot HaKol Levado Yimlok Nora והוא היה והוא עובר והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני לעם שלו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת ישן ועיירה ועם רוחי גוויעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדוני לי ולא יירא.
I think
Shabbat
that's my
shalom.
favorite one to do.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Okay, let's turn back to page 5 for the Kiddush, and that'll be followed by the Hamotzi on 302.
Please rise. Here you go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
This is what they pay me.
And the motzi is on your sheets or on page 302. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei Aaron. Good meal, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Please wish each other a Shabbat Shalom as we head out.